I know that, in previous conversations we've had, that for you, that, there's something about the uniqueness of female leadership. And you do a lot of work, particularly with young women in India. So, what is it about the unique, what is it that's unique from your perspective about female leadership, or leadership in, for women?
Yeah, it's such a great question, Matthew. And I would hesitate to suggest, obviously, that all women leaders are the same, correct? I think that there's everybody has their own unique style of leadership, and that's developed from, let's say, experiences. However, I think it's important to understand that there are general differences between women and men in their leadership styles. And part of it could be things that have not to do with work, but even your life, trying to balancing, your work, your family, and your work life, for instance, is something that I think women seem to take on more, in their professional life. But something that I feel that is more often you see in women is the idea that, and part of it could be like a confidence thing. So many men, if I can very much generalize, can be very confident in their ideas and their decisions and go forth with it. I think, at least my style, what I see oftentimes as women, is you need the different views. You need to hear, you need to listen, you need to hear different perspectives before you have the confidence enough to go forward with your idea. So at least for me, that's kind of a leadership style that I use that perhaps is unique or more common with women leaders.
That's really interesting, because I was in the car yesterday and I was listening to Jenny Murray on Women's Hour on the BBC, which is a very popular program that's on the Radio 4 in the mornings. And she was talking to two of her guests, Claire Wellham, I think, and Rosie Campbell from the LSE. And they were making this point about how interesting it's been that some of the world leaders that are women, in reacting and dealing with the pandemic, have reacted in a very different way to male leaders. And in some cases, and they weren't making the point that somehow women were that much better than men, but interestingly, the way they've approached it, at the moment, it looks as though they've been rather more successful. And one of the things they brought up was the point you made about listening to different views, being quite decisive. So I would imagine, there are lots of things just in day-to-day life that women, particularly dealing with young people, trying to make decisions between things, that are going to have to be quite quick at making decisions on. And the fact that they just collaborated. There was an element of collaboration, whereas the men were all a bit macho, and that was the point they were making. But it's interesting you see this.